Welcome, 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 everyone. My name is Anthony Howard. I am the founder and CEO of HR Certified. And thank you for attending today's live LinkedIn Live event. I am just going live. This is the first time that I've actually done this in quite some time. So I need to make sure that you can see me and that you can hear me clearly. There's a little bit of a delay between when I talk and when you hear it. But if you do, please drop in the chat where you're from and what you're looking to gain from today's session, because I know that your time is valuable. If you could drop that in the chat, just so I can confirm that I'm live, that I'm up and running. Um, the first time that I ever did a LinkedIn Live, I thought I was live and I wasn't, and didn't find out until 10 or 15 minutes into it. And just like any other HR person, we're not IT. We just work with the hand that we're given. Again, thank you for attending today's session around empowering each other in this new era. Okay, I see you, Rhonda. Thank you so much. That you're confirming. Hey, Asia. Thank you so much for confirming. Hi, Tanya. Okay, all right. I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm feeling a little bit better. All right. So if you can drop in where you're from and what you're looking to gain from this session, that'd be great. I'm gonna go ahead and share. You know, HR goes based off of PowerPoint, so I'm gonna share my screen here. And today's event is about empowering each other, thriving in this year and beyond. The logic behind this session was just about the enormous amount of change that we're undergoing. All forms, all types, personally and professionally. And there's a unique impact to this when it comes to HR professionals. And we don't have too many outlets in which we can openly talk about these things that impact us. You know, our family might, a lot of our family think that this job is easy, right? But the reality is that it's much more dynamic than anybody can even imagine unless you're in it, or that you truly utilize human resources in the way that it is to be made. So think of this as a conversation, not a presentation. I live, eat, and breathe HR. I understand the trends. I'm involved in the business. I hear from you, from our clients, all the things. And this is an ability for us to share. And if I also can ask you to share this post within your network and let people know that we're live. I know that this was scheduled for 12 o'clock Eastern time, and we can put things on our calendar, but the reality is the our day can be so dynamic that whatever we plan never happens. So please share this out within your network and let them know that they want to join us. So again, my name is Anthony Howard. I'm the founder and CEO of HR Certified. The majority of you I know if you're connected to me on LinkedIn. But a little bit about me is that I have been in human resources in various capacities for over, well, I fell into it early. So this will be going on my 25th year in human resources. And my latest venture is full time in helping enabling other HR professionals and their teams to be great. And the uniqueness of our business is that it's not just a check the box exercise. It's about being able to apply the knowledge to whatever you're doing through coaching. Your network is your net worth. It's not about what you know, it's where to go to get it when you need it. And then the last but not least is something that we all need is community. to be able to come together when there are, in order to enable one another. And in that vein is how this event came to be. I am a member of the Forbes Coaches Council. The reason why that's important is because there are some references that I'll be sharing throughout the event that you can go and access. And our primary services is around HR certification, HR consulting to small to medium sized business training development, and online courses. My particular lean is being able to represent those that are underrepresented in human resources, because HR is already an island within the island. But if you're the only one that looks like you within HR, it's an island within an island within an island. And there are advantages and opportunities that come along with that. So enough about me. Why are you here and what you're looking to gain? I think I see Kelly in the chat. Hi, Kelly. Kelly from Houston. We also have Jamarcus here in Atlanta. Hi, Jamarcus. Thank you for coming. Shanta, Shantae. Okay, let me get it right. Shantae from South Cal. Oh my goodness, is everything okay? Are you okay? Are your family okay? Right, we hear everything that's going on. South Cal strong. Okay, I hope that everything is okay with you, your family, your loved ones. Our prayers are definitely with you and all. I can't even imagine the resiliency that's needed, even for you to be on this call. I appreciate you. Rhonda, how are you from Roswell? Asia from ATL. I think we got somebody from Brooklyn. Wait a minute, did someone say Brooklyn? Oh yeah, Tanya. Hey Tanya. If you haven't introduced yourself, please drop your name, drop where you're from. Okay, she said that the hair is that the air is horrible. I can only just imagine, and make certain that you share this out within your network that we're here. All right, so let's get it started. Let's talk about really why, again, that we're here. There's a lot of change that's happening around us. And we have to accept some hard truths before we really dive into solutions. And one of those hard truths is that the now current administration has brought and will bring significant changes to the workplace. I mean, it's fast and furious, right? Just yesterday, a new EOC commissioner was installed, and she was very clear about what her mandate is going to be around workplace policies. It is very, very important that we keep up to date with what is going on, reshaping policies, shifting workforce dynamics. There's going to be a lot of change as it relates to that. The second is, and this is to no surprise, the stress levels of HR professionals is continuing to rise year over year. Now, this is not based off of feelings, it's facts. And the source where I got this was from McLean 2024 HR Trends Report. I need to see a 5 in the chat if you agree that your stress level has risen over the last couple of years. If that is something that you can feel and you can relate to, put a 5 in the chat. And then last but not least is that HR is, even though we're hiring, right, and the future looks bright for us, our job is not being eliminated by AI. Our market is ultra competitive. If I could just say that loud, ultra. I don't know what movie that came from. Competitive, ultra competitive. When a position is posted online, within, I feel like, seconds, hundreds of applicants are to the jobs, and the majority of them are passive, meaning that you're searching but not advertising, right? You're looking for a new opportunity, looking for another organization to go to. And those individuals who are unfortunately unemployed, it's taking longer land feet to a new place. I see it on LinkedIn all the time about individuals who have been unemployed for a long period of time, and it's impacting their ability to be able to make ends meet. And those are situations that are very heartfelt because no one wants to be in that type of situation. So, what we're going to talk about today is how you can future proof your career in human resources. And if you're at where you're at and you're looking to be able to break through and get promotions, because promotions aren't coming as frequent either, how can you lean into that? If this is where you're looking, where hey, this is checking the box about where you're hoping to be able to solve today. I need a 100 in the chat. If these are the hard truths that we're looking for solutions on to be able to work through with, put 100 in the chat. And please, please, please share out in your network that we're here and that we're having a real conversation. Because this is also another thing, and I think you can agree with this too. We're really good at providing education on process. But when it comes down to dealing with things like this, usually it's not very transparent about how you truly navigate that. And usually spaces are not created to really talk about those things openly. And so this is the reason for creating that space. All right, I see hundreds. I see the hundreds in the chat. I see somebody from Los Angeles, Stewart. Thank you so much for joining. And if you just did join us, be able to put your city and what city you're representing. I'm here in Atlanta from Chicago, South Side, very important. And we're snowed in with 2 inches of snow. Now, for those of you in the north, you may laugh at us, but we don't have the infrastructure for this. So when it comes down to this, we're going to enjoy the day. Hi, Darlene. How are you? Where are you from? And is it Kyla? Where are you from? Okay. All right. So let's talk about. Let me go ahead and change this around just for a second. How do we adapt in this new era? Again, a lot of changes has happened, and I can't think of any other period of time in which we had such opposing viewpoints about the way that many things will go in this country, including as it relates to, in particular, us as HR professionals and us in the country. And after the election, there was a lot of feelings around that, in particular for Black HR leaders. Like how is this election going to impact us comprehensively? And so what I did was I brought together a group of HR leaders, myself along with Tiffany and Asia, who was pictured in here. And we asked them the question. After we got over the feelings, we're just like, what do we do next? How do we move on? How do we adapt to what's coming? And it was an awesome, awesome, awesome roundtable around solutions, around how do we show up because we're needed, right? In this, and there were three things that came up. The first one was around proactive leadership in a time of change. What does that mean? The other is building a resilient community because, I mean, even SHRM has adopted its approach towards certain philosophies, and we're just in an era where one singular source for HR isn't enough, right? It's one that there are plenty, plenty, plenty of resources that are out there. And then the last is leading with courage and purpose. And the high level with that is leadership courage is going, this is if you're in HR for the right reason, is going to be imperative in this new era. There's no such thing as sitting on the sidelines. Again, if you're here with this, there is a full-page article that has been published based off of this feedback that's on Forbes. The name of the article is A Pathway Forward: Black HR Leaders Adapting a New Era. But what I found very refreshing on the feedback is that this really applies to anybody that works in human resources. Getting that opinion, getting that thought process, getting the themes, really laid the groundwork for how we can move forward with this. So I do encourage you to go on Google, look on Forbes, find this article, and read it at your leisure. But we're going to really dive into this about how do we adapt in this new era. And I have to say thank you, thank you, thank you to both Asia and Tiffany for co-leading this with me, and anyone that attended our sessions and providing their feedback. That's leadership courage that I'm talking about. That is doing something more than complaining about it or standing on the sidelines. That's leadership courage. That's proactive leadership. So let's dive into this. Proactive leadership in a time of change. And I want your feedback, right? Because there's ways to be able to interpret this. The first one, in being proactive in a time of change, is stand informed. Stand informed. And I believe that Marquise had said, takeaways: remain updated on the trends and tips that's going on, but also what's going on in the landscape, right? Being up to date, like Project 2025 is coming to fruition, right? They've already listed out what they're going to do. So being informed, so that means being able to balance all the information that's coming and making sure that you have capacity for other things, if that makes sense, right? Because it can be so much noise that you miss the message, or it could be so much information you don't know what to do with it. And that's where we are right now in our day of age. Around there is so much access to information, misinformation, all the things that staying informed is now is now more imperative. And how do you do that? So let me ask. Let me just throw the question out there. How do you stay informed in this new era? Like, I know it's moving and shaking, and dynamics are moving away. How are you staying informed about what's happening? Go ahead and put it in the chat as it relates to that. The next aspect is being able to adapt to a changing workforce. We are in a multicultural, multi-generational workforce. We have all these generations working, and we have every culture that you can think of that could be in the workforce. We have to be able to adapt to that and not forget that, right? We're not all the same. There are unique differences that can give companies, organizations, competitive advantages in order to meet their strategy. A lot of times we hear from, especially our young folks, is that we don't listen to them, right? We talk to them, we talk at them, and this is the reason why they don't want to enter the workforce, or they don't stay long. Is one of the lessons that was learned throughout this in process, because we had millennials and Gen Z as part of this process, is listen to us, meet us where we are. So I know for me, how I do it is I'm on TikTok. Now, do I want to be on there? Absolutely not. But I know that's where they are. So that's where I'm at, right? How do you connect to, how are you able to ensure that you are connected to the tapestry of culture and the multiple generations that exist within our workforce? Please put your tips down there. All right, so we got it. We got one here going to webinars, Department of Labor, EOC updates. Yes, follow EOC. Like, I will follow the EOC commissioner. I will go on their website. Sherm is awesome. Going to Department of Labor, going to webinars from different sites. Thank you so much, Kelly, for that. Yes, that's what we need to do. Asia had put some things down there too: conferences, professional organizations and communities, credible articles and blogs. Don't forget, we are business people first. So don't just venture around HR, right? Also around local, state, federal government, and the industries that we're in, because there's trending as it relates to that as well. Keep that coming. And how are you adapting to the changing workforce? And then, last but not least, is reimagining DIB. There, it is very clear that companies are taking a stand, a loud 10 toes down position as it relates to DEIB. Either they are for it or they're not, right? And we have access to information to be able to determine that. But the reality is, regardless of what you call it, the work must continue. Do you agree with that? Let me repeat that again. Regardless of what you call it, DEIB, DEIJ, whatever it is, and whether or not you adopt it or not, the work must continue. If you agree with that, put 100 in the chat. Put 100 in the chat if you agree with that. And the reality is, it is absolutely key for organizations to meet employees where they are, in order to meet customers where they are, in order to make the money that they're looking to make, right? So how do you do that? Reimagining what that employee experience is going to be. So stay informed, adapt to a changing workforce, reimagine DEIB on how you meet people where they are. Okay, I see these hundreds in the chat. Okay, yes. Hi, Teresa. How are you? Thank you for joining. And again, please share out in your networks that we are here. Another thing that came out was building a resilient community, right? And again, I am sharing my personal experience, that there are not many opportunities in order for us to be able to thrive authentically in a lot of conferences, right? My again, from based off of my experience, I love going to SHRM conferences. SHRM, you will inform me of all everything. But when I go, um, I don't see myself there, right? Or I see very few of us there, and so it doesn't create the environment in which you could feel like you can be authentic, right? So how do you plug in, right? But I think also the reality that we found out last year is that you don't have to go to a singular source. There's so many communities that are out there that can align in with your values and and the way that you show up. That more importantly taps into your gift, right? Are you activated around? And There is a thought leader that I follow, and she has a quote that says that don't change the environment. No, don't change who you are, where you are. Change where you are so that you can be who you are. And I know I'm messing that quote up, but in order to really activate your superpowers, it has to be cultivated in environments that allows that to be able to thrive, to thrive. And ways to be able to do that outside of the workplace is in community, and in community, being able to leverage collective strength, because it's not about what you know, it's not about what you can do individually. It's about where to go to get it when you need it, and how, as a group, we can affect change. Being able to amplify contributions to move the bar, because this is the reality. A lot of times, HR are hidden heroes. We are hidden heroes. We never really amplify all the great stuff, but all the bad things people remember. And we get a bad rep because of it. Just go on TikTok, you'll see it, right? It's time to be able to amplify that we are heroes too, right? To be able to increase our value, not only to our business stakeholders, but to those that are looking for opportunities, and then to be able to create opportunities for others. I think we can all agree that entering and growing into HR, there is no SOP for this thing. It really requires strategic approaches in order to be able to do that. And we have the ability to create those opportunities for others to be able to enter and grow in this space. So building a resilient community, just imagine, and I shared this the other day, was the associations or the groups that have an example, that have a very strong community are fraternities and sororities. When I tell you they back each other up and support each other to a point where it just seems like that they are family, even though they're not. Imagine, just imagine for a moment, HR was like that, regardless of your company, that we showed up for each other that way. Just imagine that it wouldn't be as hard to find another job. Just imagine it wouldn't be that hard for us to be amazing in these streets in order for us to feel connected, even though we're working in these individual companies. Like, I'm just using it as an example, but just think about what community could mean if we reduce these invisible barriers that already are either on a subconscious or conscious level that exists, that only we come together doing conferences or webinars virtually. The impact that would make. Okay, now I know I don't want to make sure I'm not talking to myself. Put 100 in the chat if you can do. If you did you visualize that vision? Wouldn't that be awesome? Oh my goodness, that would be so awesome to be able to eliminate those those invisible barriers. But building a resilient community was definitely one of the aspects that came up as how do we move forward. So there was one other thing that I'm, definitely going to do as we're going through this, and that is to share with you resources on being able to do this. And one conference that I attended um, that and it came right on time after I had went through a bout of I had a mental break. Was attending the Unplugged conference last year, and it came right on time. And it is truly an experience. It's not one that I can describe, so I'm actually going to show you guys a video of the recap for last year. And the young lady who I'm with, and many of you may already be connected to her. Her name is LaShawn Davis. She is here in Atlanta, Georgia. As you can see, she's loud, meaning that she's authentic. She's right from the very beginning. And the theme of the conference is to truly unplug, is to truly leave your laptop at home and come to unplug and recharge, and still get SHRM and HRCI credit. I'm going to show you a video of a recap, and you may see some familiar faces.
HR Unplugged has been a phenomenal experience. I've been able to connect with HR professionals and learn a lot this year, and I'm looking forward to supporting LaShawn in 2025.
Thank you so much for creating this space for HR professionals to truly unplug, kick back, rejuvenate, so that we can turn back to our offices and be those business partners and impact change.
I can't thank you enough, again, just for putting this together. I will be back next year, and being here at this conference really helped me to understand the needs of HR personnel.
That's your purpose. It's our purpose. And we're all here to support you and back you.
Thank you for being creative enough and being authentic enough to do this for your industry, to pour in and pour back into places where people have not been poured into.
I only see this getting bigger and better. We're going to impact the human part of HR, and I'm here for it. Keep believing and keep elevating and moving past.
When I tell you, it was a time, and it came right in time. There was just a different feeling as it relates to it. So she was convinced to bring it back in 2025. It's called the HR Unplugged Experience, and it's going to be between the 2nd and the 4th. Her birthday was also around. She would have attended today's meeting, but she's on vacation. She's unplugging herself. use the code BDAY20 for 20% off. You can go to the website. But I encourage you that you need to unplug to replug. And Asia was there, I was there, there were other people that was there, and I'm sure you felt that energy. I hope that you did. I put 100 in the chat if you felt the energy in that video. And just imagine being able to still build your capability in a way that you can show up authentically, because we need those periods of time for what's to come and to prepare us for what's going on now, right? So definitely put 100 in the chat if you felt that. I definitely extend an invitation for you to you and anybody that you invite to attend. But it definitely will be worth it. Okay. The next aspect is around leading with courage and purpose. The reality is we have to be continuously in a professional learning. We have to be forever professional learners. There are skills that we have to develop around AI, around our soft skills, as well as that it's a continuous growth process. There's no such thing now in this where you're frozen, where you only do things the way that you've done it or the way you've always done it. There is a growth mindset that anything could change at any time, right? So that's it. It's cultivating a growth mindset. The next is leading with integrity. That's going to be very important, right? Integrity is going to be absolutely key in showing up in these spaces where decisions are being made that impact people. And as the environment becomes more deregulated and it's going to rely on companies to make the right decision, HR is going to be absolutely integral in these vital discussions around the right thing to do and having the leadership courage to say something, right? And then leading with courage and purpose is that our next generation is here and we are not attractive to them at all, period. So how do we rebrand ourselves in order to attract our next generation? That time is now. We don't have to wait until other people fall into this or that people are assigned to this. We have the ability to affect that change now, right? Because now we're change makers. And there's a quote that my grandmother used to tell me all the time, and I think that's what led me to be able to be redeployed who I am now and find myself is this quote: "If you don't stand for anything, you will fall for anything." What do you stand for? Outside of your role and your job, what do you stand for as it relates to human resources? Lean in and lean into that. Yes. Yes, Shantae, that was just clips from last year to get you what this was going to be this year. So it's just a recap. So we're looking to recreate and make it even better. So yes, please click the link. I would love to see you there. I'm definitely going to be there. And if you're going to be there, or if you're going to plan on being there, yeah, I think y'all put 100. It sounds like Kelly and Tanya and Shantae, y'all the only three that's going to go. But definitely attend if and invite a friend. All right, and then last but not least is that we do have a community in which our mission is to expand on all the things that you just saw, right? And that's not something that Asia, myself, or Tiffany can go and meet and say, this is what we're going to do. Just like we created that Forbes article based off feedback and we made it real and tangible, it is, how does this community look and feel based off of the tenets that we just talked about? And we need your help. And so with that, and it is a free community, our only difference here is that we're about action. So if you're on the sidelines, there's plenty of other organizations that you can do that with, but it's truly about affecting positive change for our organizations, for our teams, and most importantly, ourselves. And so we're going to drop the link on how you can do just that. Actually, you can go to our website at www.gethrcertified.com, and there's a link for getting started. And the very last question is, how can you contribute to a community like this now that you know what we're about? Would love for you to join and help us continuing the mission and being able to affect change. And it's called HR Offline because some discussions we need to have offline. Okay. All right. So hey, look, we're halfway. Well, yeah, we're close to this. If you are enjoying what you're seeing, please share this event out in your network. That like there's some jams being dropped here. This is something totally different. This is not your webinar, your typical webinar. Share out there so that people can join us. All right. The second thing is, how can you stay competitive and how can you stay ahead in this competitive market? There's so much change that it's just like, what do you focus on? And so what I'm going to share with you is what I've learned from my journey with Forbes. I went to the Future of Work event in New York City. My clients that come through the HR Masterclass and work for different industries, as well as the McLean and Company. And it's very important, again, that you have a broader view of information when it comes down to making decisions. So just know that all of this is coming from a broader perspective, and definitely would love your opinion as well. So how can you stay ahead? The first one is increasing your agility, right? Being able to pivot as the business requires it to be, right? I had just shared that that companies like HR is kind of trendy, meaning that HR needs to be deployed in which the business needs it to, not the way that our passions are. So I'll give you an example. There used to be a time where training development would be always the first one on the chopping block at the end of the year, right? But now training development is central core to business strategy. So now everyone's doing it, right? HR business partnership and strategic partnership, that didn't even exist at one point in time, right? It evolved to that, right? But the whole thing is you don't want to be a one-trick pony. You want to know enough about every aspect of HR to be dangerous, meaning that you could redeploy yourself if the company decides to go a different way, if that makes sense. This is you being the most agile, and especially as AI is becoming more adaptive. The next is increasing your intercultural competency. It is going to be less about your technical skills over time and more about how you're able to drive change through people who are different than you, culturally different than you. Those skills are going to be so valuable as we become more multicultural and there are more generations in this workplace. Being able to connect to those that are culturally different is going to be so valuable for your career. And don't think just because you work in HR that you're at the top of the curve. There's always an opportunity to be able to learn and grow in that area. And then the last is being able to manage and drive change. That's the only constant that exists in every organization is a huge amount of change. So you being able to adapt to and lead that change will be all three of these things combined. You future-proof in your career, either if you're working or you're looking to get into it. I would love to hear your feedback on this. Do you have anything to add as relates to this? Please share it in the chat, and I'll definitely do it. But these are the three pillars: increasing your agility, increasing your intercultural competency, and increasing your ability to be able to manage and drive change. So one way that you can do that is by earning HR certification. A lot of what I find is that a lot of people take the HR certification process as a check in the box exercise. Oh, I just need my certification so I get the names after name and that I can qualify for the job. But there's another approach to this, which is how many times are you able to get the full body of knowledge on every aspect about HR in one setting? HR certification is the time to be able to do that, right? And there's an ability, if you go through a cohort, that you can build an experienced community, right? Some of those days are tough to be able to connect to other people that are going through the same thing as you, being able to build your network up, be accountable for your goals, get motivated and pumped, and to have a structured learning plan versus just having a stack of books in front of you. So if you are interested in joining our upcoming cohort around earning HRCI and SHRM certification, please fill out that contact form that Asia had just put into the chat for more information. We do have on-site live courses here in Atlanta, and then we have virtual cohort for those that are elsewhere in the U.S. The next is how do you build your intercultural competency? One way to be able to do it is through IDI. An intercultural development inventory is a validated and reliable assessment that's used globally that helps you to be able to understand where your strengths and challenges are as it relates to intercultural, being able to build stronger connections to people with diverse backgrounds. There is an ability to be able to do that. You go to our website, and there is a tab for IDI as well, where you can get your self-assessment as well as a development plan on how to do just that. I am an IDI certified administrator to be able to assess this, but this is also, think of all these tools as well as opportunities within your organization as well. I think I had mentioned there are ways where you can re-envision DEIB. This is another way to be able to do it. I didn't say DEIB. It was about increasing your intercultural competency. And those are skills that are invaluable for matrix environments, globalized environments, and then your ability to be able to network within diverse environments. So if you're interested in building your intercultural competency, visit our website and click on IDI. But that is a way to be able to do that. And then last but not least, how do you drive and affect change? There's a new certification that you may not have ever heard of. You got to say it fast. It's called the PMSCP, Project Management Skills Certified Professional. It really leans into the soft skills necessary to drive results through teams or people who don't report to you. This is very perfect for HR professionals because this is how you get promoted. You don't get promoted by doing your job. You get promoted by being able to go above and beyond your job description and being able to affect a very impactful change. And HR people are project leaders by default, right? But we just get it done. That's what I did. But this is best practices on all the things from interpersonal, from conflicts, for the negotiation, all of that. And it allows you to be able to keep your certification. 42 credit hours for ATD, HRCI, PMI, and you get that certification at the end of your name. So really, if you want to learn how to drive change through project leadership, this is invaluable. We do have upcoming cohorts coming up for the PMSCP. If you're interested, click on that same link for more information. But definitely one that you don't want to take advantage of. Now, I need to know, are any of you need your resume review? Yeah, I know y'all, you complete if you are looking for a job or you just want your resume review to make sure that ATS don't kick you out. If you're interested in that, I need a 500 in the chat. If you need that. Oh no, Kelly gotta go. I know. Look, it's time for you to prep for that next meeting. Yes, there is a webinar that talks about the PMSCP. I'll follow up with you on where you can go with that. But if you're interested in a free resume review, put a 5 in the chat. And then Asia Jordan from the Essence of Culture Consulting will follow up with you so that you can enter to win a free resume review, and put it in a template that don't kick you out of these ATS systems. Okay. So I see Kyla. Kyla wants it. What else? Who else has it? All right. Tiffany wants it. Okay. All right. Look, win a free resume review with Essence of Culture. If you're interested, put a 500 in the chat so that we can enter you in for that. All right. I hear you. I hear you. Yes, yes, yes. Asia, you're gonna be busy. I love it. I love it. All right, let's keep it going. So how are you adapting in this new environment, right? How are you adapting in this new environment as it relates to to stress? And I'm going to ask you this, and you put one or the other or all in this. Do you feel stressed? Do you feel overworked? Do you feel under resourced, or is it all the above? So which one are, or none of the above? Which one applies to you? You stressed? Are you overworked? Are you under resourced? Is it all of the above or none of it? I want to see it in the chat. I know there's a little bit of a delay. Stressed, overworked, under resourced, or all the above, or none of the above? And while you're putting your answers in the chat, the stats are saying that we are this. We're getting more stressed than ever. Our profession is, at least. Uh-oh, it's coming through. All of the above. All of the above. One example that I say is that HR people are like teachers in the corporate world, right? We're always under resourced, but we make it work anyway. We still make magic happen, but stress is happening. And this is the thing, and I'm speaking from my experience. I find that HR people are stressed a lot because we absorb our entire lives into our work. Let me repeat that. A lot of times we are stressed, overworked because we turn our lives into our job. And that can be a mistake. The ultimate accountability partner for making sure that you are okay is you. It doesn't belong to your manager. It doesn't belong to your company. It belongs to you. And I had to learn the hard way. Yesterday was the 3rd anniversary of my grandmother's passing. She was the most quintessential person to me and for my life. And hold on one second here. When she passed, that did have an impact. Go ahead and cancel this. To what was going on in my life, and lucky enough, I had the support system to be able to recover from that. I did write a full-page article on my lessons learned from that, and it allowed me to be in a place where I'm happy, right? I am so in tune with myself, more so than any other time in my entire life. And I hate that I had to go through a mental break to find it. So I am sharing with you my lessons learned that will allow you to own your well-being. And so these are the things. Oh yes, please, and share yours as well. Is being self-aware of where you are and who you are. Like, do you know your strengths? Every single one of you have a gift that's meant to be shared. How do you know what your gifts are? So one that I use was Strength Finders. Strength Finders helped me be able to understand where my superpowers were. And sure enough, that it was my superpowers all the way. And I leaned all the way in. You don't need to be in environments that don't cultivate your superpowers. Do you know your superpowers? And how do you know it? How do you know it? Again, I use Strength Finders to be able to find that out. And you need to believe in it. You need to know that it's true, that you are, and your gift is meant to be shared. Have an unwavering purpose. Well, all that means is that you know why you're doing this. It can't be just because you're good at it. What's the higher level reason for why you're doing this? There's a reason why you're put on this earth. And it's and outside of you. What is it? How are you using your gift by being in this profession to connect to an overall purpose in your life? Embrace your uniqueness. I suffered from imposter syndrome for so long and trying to acclimate to those around me that I lost myself. That was very key. Your differences is your superpower. Lean into it. We are also perfectionists, all of us, but we have to give ourselves grace. We are human. Just learn from those mistakes. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. And give yourself grace. Another saying is wake up and automatically give yourself 3 chances by the end of the day. Oh, that was just one, before you start beating yourself up. Set boundaries. Set boundaries. If everything is an emergency and everyone has a priority, you're headed in the wrong direction, right? Set those boundaries. Have a balance. Have a balance outside of work. What do you like to do? How do you relax? Who are the people who give you energy? Like, lean into that. Those that support you. And those relationships you do have, invest in those that pour into you, that support you. One of the things that I do is, I know it sounds, but I'm good with analogies. Is I have to have the value of the relationship to me. And if that relationship, if I were to do it on this Excel spreadsheet and I did an auto sum and it kept being negative over a period of time, I don't care if it's family, friends, regardless, I'm gonna have to reevaluate that relationship. You got to have positive relationships in order to really lean into that. And be a beacon of value. What does that mean? A beacon of value is that you are adding on to what's required. Like you're putting in a special sauce that only you could bring. Just like, oh my God, yeah. Anthony brings in the personality of this. I'm just using this example. And then the last is never stop moving forward. Okay, you accomplished that goal. What's next? What is next? Okay. You're always progressing. Don't get comfy. That's what that last one is. Don't I see people get comfy? Why are you getting comfortable? Why are you getting comfortable? Because the reality is, if you are not continuing to move forward, a body at rest stays at rest. And in this environment, the only thing that's constant is change. Whoa, there's some stuff in this. Okay, let me put some stuff out here. Tanya put in some breath work. I love that, the breathwork app, to be able to help you be able to breathe and relax. Um, there's another example of imposter syndrome. Yeah, and you can set yourself back because guess what? You're not being able to do any of these things. And Marquise had put in, like boundaries, setting those boundaries, right? That are out there. Thank you so much. Put that out there. If y'all like this approach, put two 100s in the chat. If y'all like this, look, I want y'all to learn from me. Don't and these are the things that I had that was in my route of being able to find myself and to be able to really grasp and hold of my and own my mental health. So definitely, if this resonated with you, put 200s in the chat. All right, last slide, y'all, is, I talked about a lot of things, but I love about being able to quantify where I'm at. So how can you measure your personal growth? I am on the board of directors. I'm a volunteer board on the board of directors for a company by the name of Potential, and they have a well-being development system that's free for individuals. I challenge you to go out to that website and measure, quantify your mental health well-being, and use that to be able to track yourself over time. This is not an assessment of over life. This is thinking about your life in the last 30 days. Answer those questions honestly, and track your progress over time. It gives you feedback. It's science-based, free for individuals. So you're just wondering how they're able to do it. They're able to do it because they have enterprise accounts. A lot of their accounts um, are nonprofits that do the work, that mission work, and they use it to be able to gauge how they can show up for the people who do the work. So please go to that website and take the assessment. It's like 30 seconds. I know when you hear assessment, you're like, oh my God, it's gonna take forever. Like it's gonna be like 4 minutes or less to measure and gauge your well-being. It's definitely a tool that you want to be able to use. Okay. All right. Look, I want to be conscious of everyone's time as it relates to it. I really do appreciate you all attending. And I got a couple minutes for any questions or comments that you wanted to share. And y'all need to share this. Y'all need to share this. Was this different, y'all? Was this different from anything that you probably ever attended? I need feedback. Excuse me, on whether or not this was helpful, whether or not this was of value, and that the approach was different. Now I say add value differently. Add value differently. Would love to hear your feedback and any questions that you may have. Thank you so much, Asia, for the chat. I mean, for manning the chat and putting it out there. I'm glad to be connected to you too, Shante. Hopefully we can meet on a one-on-one. But any questions, any comments, any feedback? Oh, Tanya, I love it. We work together as it relates to gaining her HR certification, and she thought she was going to get rid of me because she graduated. No, not at all. I'm a part of your network now. Thank you, Shante, for the feedback. Definitely share this within your network. Is definitely worth that, and to keep in touch with us. Join the community. Join our cohort that's coming up for PMP, PMSCP, or the HRCI. Take those tips for your well-being. Consider joining HR Offline to be able to affect change. Get that free resume service that's out there, and take care of yourself and take care of each other. All right. Have a good one, everybody.